The lecture is about the disconnect between basically the ecological crisis. Everyone knows it's very big, but we don't always have the answer for that, and we feel very small. So it's an analysis of a disconnect between this feeling of very, very much powerlessness on one hand and enormous threat on the other, a threat which is itself disputed. So I'm trying to see how the social sciences and the natural sciences and the art could simultaneously bring their different forces around this question of a disconnect between the scale of a phenomena and what every one of us feel about it. So it's lectures about the connection between science and art and politics, basically. That's what it is, around the question of the ecological crisis. What are we supposed to do when faced with ecological crises that do not resemble any of the crises of wars and economy? What to do when told day after day, and in more and more strident way, that our present civilization is doomed, that the earth itself has been so tampered with that there is no way it will ever come back to any of the various steady states of the past? What do you do when reading, for instance, a book like that of Clive Hamilton titled Requiem for a Species, and that the species is not the dodo, nor the whale, but us, that is, you and me? Or hard-weather climate wars, what people will be killed for in the 21st century. The time of great narrative has passed, I know, and it could seem ridiculous to tackle a question so big from so small a point of entry. But that's just the reason why I wish to speak to you tonight. What do we do when questions are too big for everybody, and especially when they are much too grand for the orator, that is myself? One of the reasons why we feel so powerless when being asked to be concerned by the ecological crisis, the reason why I, to begin with, feel so powerless, is because of a total disconnect between the range, nature, scale of the phenomena and the set of emotions, habits of thought, feelings that would be necessary to handle those crises. Not even to act about it, but just to give them more than a passing ear. So my talk will largely be about this disconnect and what to do about it. I hope to have shown you tonight why it might be important and maybe urgent to bring together all the possible resources to close the gap between the size and scale of problems we have to face and the set of emotional and cognitive states that we associate with the task of answering the calling without falling into melancholia nor denial. And it's largely for this reason that we have resurrected these rather out-of-fashion terms of political arts for the new program that we created in Sciences Po, and we are very pleased to present here in London today, thanks to the French Institute. Why? To train professional artists and scientists to the triple task of representation: scientific, political, and artistic representation. There are many topics, and some of them will appear, I'm sure, in the discussion, and there are some leaflets around to see, so that you see. But in keeping with the spirit of this lecture, there is one idea that we try to tackle with this project, the 20 students we have this year and the 20 we had last year, is that we might convince Gaia, this is one of the projects, that since we weigh now so much on her shoulders and her on ours, we might entertain some sort of a deal or a ritual, I don't know. Like the mega banks, we too might have become too big to fall. Our destinies are so connected that there might be an issue in the end, as illustrated by this fascinating print. And it's an image which is slightly more hopeful than that of the overburdened Atlas, which is what Sloterdijk says. Only, of course, if hope could still be a blessing and not a curse, as Hamilton says. Thank you very much.